Hello, everyone. A royal welcome to the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast. It's the start of a big week. We're doing days 1 and 2 of Royal Ascot. We're doing this on Monday. We've got a Thursday section as well. Our next pod will be on Thursday as well, so we can cover that briefly then and then get stuck into Friday and Saturday when we'll have Saturday decks. That's the plan anyway. So 2 Royal Ascot pods this week. It's just about the best flat racing week of the year. There are a total of 35 races for us to be. We're going to try and preview basically the lot of them, although Thursday, as I say, is going to be a tiny bit lighter because it's that interim period of podcasts. Lots to get through with Micheál Deasy and Steve Jones. A couple of things to tell you about. First of all, you can win a £25 free bet. Comment on this video your Royal Ascot nap and you get the chance to win a £25 free bet. The more comments we get, obviously, the more free bets are going to be given out. So it's very simple. It's free to do. Who is your nap? And you could win a £25 free bet. You can guarantee yourself a £30 horse racing bet as well. This is our new sign-up offer, launched just in time for Royal Ascot, where you bet 30 on horse racing and get £30 in free bets. Sign up to Matchbook with the bonus code HR30. I guess that's horse racing 30, HR30. That's all you need to do. Sign up to Matchbook today and use the bonus code HR30. You've got to place and settle £30 in horse racing bets. So it's got to consist of two £10 horse racing back bets and a £10 horse racing multiple, totaling 30, obviously. So two individual £10 back bets on horse racing and a horse racing multiple as well. The minimum odds have to be 2.0, and you can enjoy £30 in free bets on horse racing. The bonus is paid in three £10 free bets. You'll have basically had three £10 bets to get yourself there. So use the bonus code HR30. There's more details on social media, and take advantage of a £30 bet through the sign-up offer and £25 free bet if you comment your nap. Simple as that. Do like and subscribe as well. That's the best no-cost way of supporting this podcast. All right, 2:30 at Ascot is the Queen Anne Stakes. It's the first race of the meeting. None of us are going with the horse at the top of the market. I guess I'm not that surprised. That is Charin, who's in there at 4.33. Facteur Cheval is ever so slightly bigger. 4.4. Big Rock is 7.5. Audience is 9.0. And then we are into the bigger prices. And in fact, there's a bit of agreement on Maljoom. I am with Maljoom, as is Steve Jones. Steve, I'll let you make the case first of all.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit more open than Charin being at the top of the market, but having shown improved form on soft ground this year. But he was getting beaten up by Paddington last year, and that's the sort of level Maljoom was at, if not better, 2 years ago. You've got to take it on trust that he's as good as that these days, because he only ran once last season back in September, and then he's had one start this year. But he made the running in that race, or he's certainly pushing the pace. He was a prominent position in that 5-runner race at Ascot, won by Coudoir, and Docklands was second in it. And he's got to turn that form around. But I think he's much better off a stronger pace, which he's absolutely certain to get. There's a good lot of pace in here. He'll be running a strong gallop. And if you go back to the Royal Meeting 2 years ago, he was desperately unlucky to finish fourth, beaten just half a length in the St. James's Palace Stakes, won by Caribus, the Guineas winner. Now, that probably wasn't a vintage renewal of that race, but this isn't a vintage Queen Anne, I don't think. So if he's as good as he was, I think the prices, which are still double figures, I think Maljoom's got a really good chance.
I'm not sure what I want to add, really. I definitely don't want to play the top of the market. This can be ripe for a bit of a surprise, this race. 34.0 last year. And you can quite often get horses stepping up from handicap company that have run very well in this. But ultimately, this horse, you mentioned that Caribus run, that was luckless. And he's just obviously been a bit fragile since. I hope they just go back to more patient tactics than was the case here last time. Otherwise, I think he's got a rock solid chance. I don't know if he's well drawn or not, really, towards one of the wings, but I think they'll stay in one group. And yeah, I think he's got a 15.0. I think he's got a great chance. Dees, who are you with?
I am with Royal Scotsman. I was with Maljoom as well, but I saw you put him up, so I said I'd leave him off. He's just was so unlucky against Caribus 4 years ago, and William Haggis is in unbelievable form at the moment, so I'll be watching his horses this week. But Royal Scotsman around the same price. He was a very good 2-year-old. Finished second in the Guineas last year. Again, he was just beaten by Paddington a few times. Kind of lost his way. Started the season, the Lockinge ran no race, but was very impressive last time at Epsom in the DML Stakes. Won by 2.25 lengths. They changed riding tactics with him. They rode him handier, sent him off out in front. I thought that was very, very good. He is a nice price for this now. We're going to be getting about 17.0, a bit bigger. So I'd have a win place betting him. I think this is very up, but I don't really like anything at the top of the market. And another one I was looking at, this is just a price thing, but the price is rapidly disappearing, is High Royal. Ryan Moore has been jacked up with him. He was 100 to 1. I think it's at the start of the Big Four decks. He's probably in 36.0 now. You're not going to get many times to be able to back Ryan Moore on a horse that price. So if you're looking for something at a really big price for a wild swing, I keep him on side as well. But Royal Scotsman would be my main bet in the race.
All right, moving on to the Coventry. Day one, so good. I haven't made my mind up. I'm a no bet. We're going through every race, so I'm not going to stick something up in every race. You two have got bets at prices, though, swerving the top of the market. D, straight back at you. Who are you with in the Coventry?
Yeah, look, I can't say I'm really, really strong on this, but it was more a price thing in the trainer. There's a few other bits of it. So I went for Electrolyte, Archie Watson's horse that's been bought by Watnan Racing. He was incredibly good on debut. It was only 2 weeks ago up there. He won by 2.25 lengths. It was only 4-horse race, but he absolutely destroyed him. Went off out in front and flying away from him. James Doyle is the retained rider. He's gone for the other horse. I'm not too upset about that. You're getting a big price in this fella. Archie Watson's 2-year-olds were brilliant last year. Hoping he'll have a very similar this year, and I think Dan has him down the sheet there at 37.0. So that's a nice win and 4 or 5 place bet.
Yeah, you can probably be looking to play up some extra places in that. Nice big price as well. Steve, who are you with?
Richard Fahey's horse, Catalyze, who won first time up at Hamilton. I thought the way that Catalyze travelled through that race was really impressive, and won quite nicely that day, with plenty up his sleeve. He looked smart to me, and although that was a lower level, he's beaten them pointless. And the interesting thing, James Doyle rides this one instead of various other Woffenham horses in there, and I'm not surprised by that, because I thought one thing you do need in these 2-year-old races at Royal Ascot is speed, and he's got that, but he's also got the pedigree to see out the trip. So yeah, Catalyze.
That's the Coventry done. Catalyze at 13.0, Electrolyze at 37.0. I'm sitting out the King Charles III, formerly the King's Stand. A nice big field over 5 furlongs. Big Evs 5.5 for Steve and DC. Thank you very much. Whoever is more confident, speak first.
I'll go first. Yeah, I think he is some price for this. I think he is far and away the best horse in the race. His return win there, now I know he was odds on, but what a way to win. You know, there's always a worry that the 2-year-olds mightn't train on to be 3-year-olds. Thought he won that race very, very easily. Should have him spot on for this. I'd have him a lot shorter, to be honest. I don't think there's anything top class in the race, and he's definitely top class. So he's my nap of the day by a long way.
I think both of you quite like him as the nap. Yeah, in fact you have. So one of you needs to change. Simple as that. Steve, why are you so confident?
Well, I won't say that I was first putting it up, but I was first putting it up.
Yeah.
But 3-year-olds have got an exceptionally good record in this race. I was going to call it the King's Standard. And Big Evs was the standout 3-year-old sprinter last year. Disappointed in the Nunthorpe, but that's a big ask for a horse even getting all that weight and bounce back to go on to win on very fast ground at Santa Anita in the Breeders' Cup. When that's round a turn, that wouldn't suited Big Evs. He'd be much better on a straight on fast ground and a stiffer track, which he gets. it was a perfect race to tee him up at York for this race, and he won that and showed that he's as good as ever, I think. And I think it's a great advert for Mick Appleby. I've long since thought he was a top-class trainer, and now he's got a top-class horse. And I just think everything is in place to win this Group 1. I really fancy. I just can't see past him, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not like out and out against. But I'm not with. I mean, I thought that listed renewal of the Westo last time was fairly weak. Like he did it, and Mick Appleby was interesting afterwards because he wasn't sure that he was definitely the same horse coming into this year, and he was I think he was quite nervous about it. He didn't, he didn't go with him the whole way, which he normally does. I wonder if that's a plus at this track. But then again, last year he dominated and made all in the Windsor Castle. I just look at some of these in here and think, there's the potential for a couple of things. One, him bumping into a better horse, a better older horse, and two, a bit of a burn up, and that's why I'm going to play something like Rogue Lightning, and I have come down on Rogue Lightning, just a bit of a pick up the pieces horse, and that tends to be how I think you want to ride this track. Now, obviously, his reappearance was fairly disappointing at Haydock in the Temple, but that was his first start of the year. They'd suggested that it was very much intended to be that, with a then move to coming onto this, and I thought it could develop to suit him. It's probably a bit of a chicken play, him at 13.0 win and place over siding with Big Evs, but I can see Big Evs potentially getting found out against older horses at the very top level. So at this track in particular, for all he's won here. So I'm going to chance Rogue Lightning at the prices. All right, on we move to the St James's Palace. Not much agreement here. I think this is. I mean, I might as well start with Notable Speech, who's 2.38. I left the Guineas thinking Rosalian could well reverse form with Notable Speech. You had it run perfectly to suit at Newmarket when they went very hard. Rosalian's obviously come out on the Irish version since. I don't know exactly how they're going to ride Rosalian. I think they'll probably just try and slot in behind a lead. Obviously, there's no Hartem here. Maybe they will go forward, but I'm not convinced. But then I look back at Notable Speech's last two runs, and I sort of think he's fairly bomb-proof, whether he's going round a bend or on a straight course. The Kempton performance was outstanding, and he can just quicken. And I think he'll put it to bed pretty conclusively. I'm very happy to take about 2.3 about him. So Notable Speech, the most likely winner, and I'll back him at that. And I want a little fun bet on Al McCam, who I thought was exceptional at Sandown last time. He's 26.0, dead 8 running. I think I can get that horse into the 3. So win and place with Al McCam. But I think Notable Speech will confirm form with Rosalian, Steve Jones.
Yeah, it might do, but going round a bend offers a different scenario to Newmarket, where they did go fast and Notable Speech was out the back and creeped into it. Rosalian was not far in front of him, so he got the race run to suit. But at the Curragh, he showed a lot of class, I thought, to mow down Hartem, albeit he didn't beat him by as far as he beat his stablemate in the Guineas at Newmarket. But I just think that they'll be aware to the fact that unquestionable Aidan O'Brien's seemingly pacemaker or go off pretty hard. And from stall 1, I think Rosalian can track him or certainly be midfield, whereas you'd imagine that Notable Speech would be dropped out again. Well, one thing that one of the many things that Notable Speech got in his favour, all weather horses do tend to like Ascot, the sun-based track, and so he shouldn't have any trouble there. But Rosalian at the prices, I just think it can turn the form around, and it's as simple as that. He's going to love the fast ground, and I think the race will pan out better for him than Notable Speech.
All right, DC.
Yeah, I'm going for Henry Longfellow. I had my eye on him for this a long way out. He would have gone off in a world where City of Troy didn't exist. He probably would have gone off a very close price to favourite in the 2000 guineas. Thought he was really, really good last year. Improved every run. I'd allow him the only reason he ran in the French guineas was because of City of Troy. Just didn't work out from the kid. They said they're all in the wrong way. The O'Brien horses, some of them have taken a run to come to hand this year. It's just an amazing, well-bred horse. He should be perfect for this for a mile over Ascot, and his price is coming in day by day now. I think I think he's a bit of value. I probably have him. I know the other two have a bit of farm in the book now, but I think he can definitely give him a run, and at 4.5 is a nice bet.
A few different chats then for the St James's Palace, the last of the Group 1s on day one. We move on to the Ascot Stakes, the staying contest, handicap open as ever. Straight back at you, Steve, please. I won't give out all the prices because it is nice and open. Who do you like, Steve?
Tritonic winning place, who is a very strong stayer. This is a race that's often won by a jumps trainer, the likes of Nicky Henderson won it last year. Ian Williams, who's kind of dual purpose. Willie Mullins, of course, has won it, and Charles Burns. And Alan King won it 4 years ago with Coeur d'Alene. And Tritonic ran really well in this race last year when not beaten all that far, 2.5 lengths, when third. And I think he's a better horse on the flat over jumps. He did win on his chase debut back in November. And he's had 2 spins on the all-weather, which should put him spot on. He's not been seen since April, so he should be where he needs to be. The all-weather races don't really play to his strengths because he does stay very well. And he knows his way around here. So Tritonic winning place.
All right. DC, similar price, I think, 21.0.
Yeah, this is one of my weakest selection of the day, but I just went for Divine Comedy. Parayus's horse. He was cover. I think I did the podcast for a Haydock meeting a few weeks ago, and I went through that race. Didn't fancy him at all. He ended up being backed into favour. Plenty of money went on him over the few days come up to it, and he won by 5.5 lengths. This is a different level, but I think Harry Eustace is a very good trainer. He's definitely a trainer on the up. He should have him right for the day. I think he did a good Ascot there last year. So again, he's a double figure price. You're going to be getting 5 or 6 places on this at least. So have a small win bet in him, and then maybe back him to come in the top 5 and top 6 to cover your win bet.
That's Divine Comedy 21.0, Tritonic 21.0. I'm going to chance Bow Road at 12.0. I was hoping he'd be a slightly bigger price, to be honest. But the main angle in here is if you can get a horse who likes bowling along, horses can struggle to get into it. The horse comes here off the back of a quick fire double at Navan, then Killarney. He's dramatically on the up. I think completely unexposed. And he might be a horse who he's a strong travelling horse on the front end. I think there's every chance turning in he might look as though he's going to take it. So you might be able to get out at a shorter price. I'm not convinced he'll stay, but he's a completely unknown quantity, and I thought well worth chancing. Did Ronan Wheeler win this a few years ago for the team? Yeah, with Jenny's Jewel, they did something very similar for not a dissimilar type of horse as well, one that bowled along on the front end. So that's just looking to flesh out the case, really. But ultimately, I think the horse is a 5-year-old massively on the up and is still a win and place price. And the run style of a horse like Zandabad, who I think will be patiently ridden out of 4, will probably need a little bit of luck. And Pied Piper too. And I'd rather back a horse that I know is going to get a run. Okay. The Wolf return. DC and I agree on Botanical, who took apart a decent-looking York handicap last time. Are you worried about the ground, Deece? That was my only. I definitely want to back him against the favourite, but that's probably going to mean I just have a little bit less on than I would have done Botanical the ground.
No, not really. Not really. Yeah, I think I went through this a good bit. I couldn't believe Vizrar was favoured. I know he was good the last time, but he's so inconsistent. It's very hard to win with. And Torito, again, I don't see much depth to his form. But the way Botanical won the last time was very, very impressive. And he's drawn next to the George Baker horse Kemhan, who'll break fast and get out in front. That should give him a nice toe into the race. Roger Verley won this last year with was it Royal Champion he won with last year. So he knows how to produce him on the day. I thought he was just a bit of a step above. I know he's at a great price, but could see him going off favourite, to be honest, and I could see him winning.
Okay, Steve.
Yeah, this is a bit more like it. Silver Sword, 51, and I can't quite believe the price of this horse. I think he's got a real shout of being in the frame, if not causing a massive surprise. He's drawn 15, but the last two winners have been drawn in the highest third of the stalls. And Silver Sword's going to love the ground. So he's run 4 times on fast ground. First of all, he was second to Torito, albeit getting plenty of weight at Epsom on his handicap debut last year. This is a horse who refused to race in his first 2 starts back in 2022, but he's got no problem whatsoever now. He seems to have sorted himself out, and he thrived through last season, winning at Pontefract on fast ground, and he won a mile handicap at York on fast ground. This season he kicked off over 7 furlongs, was way too sharp for him in a listed race at Haydock, and last time at Epsom was a below par run, but he chased Royal Scotsman that day. He's obviously in the Group 1 Queen Anne, and that kind of didn't help him chasing a horse like that who made all the running. And he also got a bump when he was weakening, and it was also on ground softer than ideal. But he was second in a Group 3 at Newmarket the back end of last season on soft ground. He is so much better on fast ground. So I think he's up to this level. It's a listed race. I think he's shown he's up to Group 3 level. He's ridden by Reese Clutterbuck, who I think is a really, really good jockey. I know he's not as high profile as a lot of the jockeys riding this. And Dylan Cunha is got his horses in decent form. So 51, I just can't believe the price of this. So massive on Silver Sword.
Good. Big old price, Silver Sword. And then the Copper Horse to close off the card. Nothing for me. Too difficult draw for me. 2 for you, Steve. Straight back at you. Another massive price. Try again.
You're muted.
Spartan Army. Spartan Army is in there purely because he's third reserve. And if he were to get a run if there were non-runners, then I would certainly have a bid on him, because he's another horse that he won 3 times on the all-weather. And all-weather horses do tend to bring their best form to Ascot. And he's had a break since he last ran at Newbury, which he'd been very busy that time, but the form stacks up with Pridwin on the all-weather. So he was one that I was certainly keeping an eye on. But I'll go for a piece of heaven, who makes his debut for Joseph O'Brien, having won 3 of his last 4 starts and 3 of his last 3 starts on turf of Barry Fitzgerald. And I thought he was pretty impressive at Leopardstown in a Lady Riders race when he made all the running. I don't think he has to. He's on stall 18, so they'll probably be wanting to get out and get across into a prominent position. I think he's probably well handicapped and might even be heading for listed group races.
Who do you like, Dees?
I like Fox Journey, it's Michael Stout's horse. They've Ryan Moore on him as well. I'm sure that Ryan Moore would have had the choice of him or the Mullins horse, and he's gone for this guy. He won over a mile and a half at Newmarket off top weight in the middle of May by 11 lengths. Absolutely smashed up Mock the Sab with Reese Clutterbuck on board. He's gone up a good bit in the weights, but I think he could just be, a typical cliche alert, Michael Stout horse that's just improving with age. Had a fine season there last year. He 2 wins. Came third to middle out there in York and the Ledger Trial. What's it called again? The Melrose Handicap. So he's a decent horse. Rated 100. Probably not a lot of juice in the mark or the price, but I think there's a lot of lot of upside. So I'm going to stick with him.
All right, that is us through all the racing on Tuesday. Tomorrow, Match with Zero long shot now. Don't forget, markets live 10 a.m. each day. If you want to head to one of the Ascot markets and have a win bet, it would be a no-brainer to do it with Matchbook Zero because you're most likely to be getting best odds with zero margin, zero commission. Mine is Maljoom in the opener. Steve, your Matchbook Zero long shot?
It's surprisingly Silver Sword.
And DC.
Mine is Royal Scotsman in the opener.
Good. Different race. Good. Best lays, just you,
Okay.
Dees.
I'm going to place a Big Rock in the first race for 3 places. You know, he won there on Champions Day very, very well, but that was on borderline heavy ground. I think he's with a new trainer as well. I'll play. He's going to be second or third of the market. So for place 3, you're probably going to get more even money. I could see at least 3 of them beating this guy. So I'll play him for 3 places.
Best bets. Are you going to stick with Big Ev, Steve?
If Dees wants Big Evs, I'd probably go Rossalian.
Okay. Well, I've got
or Silver Sword, maybe.
My best bet is Notable Speech. Steve's best bet is Big Evs, although Silver Sword at a massive price. And DC, yours is.
I'll take Botanical sauce, seeing as we have to go for 3 different ones. I'll go for Botanical in the Wolferton.
I'll stick with Big Evs there.
All right.
And I'll share it with Dees when it wins.
Okay.
Well, if it loses, I'll share it with Dees, and if it wins, I won't.
I'm glad we got there. A reminder of the competition: for comment on the video with your Royal Ascot nap. For example, Brad's just done it. He said, my best bet of the day is my mate Mozzie in the 6:15. Can see him travelling into this and dropping back from 2 miles 1 to a mile 6 on the stiffer track. Be too classy for the Cromwell team. And a few more of those coming in. I won't read them all out, but you can get a win a £25 free bet. You just comment your Ascot nap on the video, you can win a £25 free bet. And a reminder of the sign-up offer as well. If you don't have a Matchbook account, open one. You can get £30 worth of horse racing bets. You just need to place 3 different bets at £10 each. 2 win bets and a multiple bet as well. And you can get £30 in free bets on horse racing. So an absolute no-brainer to do that. Sign up to a Matchbook account now and get £30 in free bets. All right. We move on to day 2, and that kicks off with the Queen Mary. Nothing for you, Steve. I'll come straight in on Kaseya. A lot of this is the draw. There's a shitload of pace high. I don't think she appreciated the soft ground on her first start, but she ran well and she stepped up at Nottingham in fine style. I think it'll be run to suit. She's fast. She's bred to stay further. I think she wants a quick ground. You'd say that on pedigree as well, and she's going to get all that. It's a bit of a guess up, obviously, because there's loads of these that could be ahead of their mark, but or loads of these that we don't know how good they are. But I thought 17.0. I'm happy to side with her. And just on that, Brad has also asked about the draw. Any of you have opinions on the draw, bias on the straight track, or solely where the pace is? What I would say is that I think it's where the pace is, although for whatever reason, there is always a slight preference as at this meeting for Stan's side. If there is a real bias emerging, it tends to be there, but then it can flip throughout the meeting. It just tends to be if the first few races go one way, then it's hard to go against that because it gets in everyone's head and people start making moves over. So I'd be wary of that, I guess. But I don't think there's an out-and-out bias, no, unless it's very soft ground. I think far side. That's what I would say. Whether it's because John Gosden came up with a theory once, it's because that gets more sun, so it dries quicker if they've had a shower. But because the stand blocks out the sun near side, I don't know. But if it's testing ground, which is not going to be this week, far side, but otherwise just see where the pace is and see where they tend to be going and maybe try not to second guess it. Any other thoughts, chaps?
It's hard enough to try and pick the winner without having to second guess the draw. And all you'll do is trip yourself up because you don't know. Certainly at this stage, you have no idea. So it's generally 9 times out of 10, the track bias is where the pace is. And that's what I will be concentrating on, even if if the first few races they all go high, then I'll want to be low because you'll get a better price because all the sheep will just go, oh, you can't. What was it in the Hunt Cup? You can't possibly win on the far side, and then Real World went in one on the far side, another. So you'll just complicate things that are all. It's complicated enough as it is, and you'll just complicate it more if you try and guess that or invent a draw bias.
It happened with Bless Him, who I'm putting up in the Hunt Cup this year. I think when he was a 3-year-old, he got in as a reserve and was the only thing all week to win far side. And there you go. Right. We've got one other bet for the opener, haven't we? In the Queen Mary. Yes, DC. Who do you like?
I like the Hannah horse Zanti. She won on trials day here, and just watched her that day. Like, it's amazing that she won. She was I suppose you want to take note as well. When a Hannah horse was first time out, but they had a hard time getting her into the stalls. She's up against Colts, and she got up on the line. I think that would just again course and distance for them, and we're going to have this. She's a big price as well. She's 17.0. I can't say no. I know loads about all of these horses, but she was one that was in my tracker. Stuck with her. I had a quick look through this. I think just at the price, she's a nice bet.
All right, moving on. Nothing else for you in that, Steve. Queen's Vase, you've got one. I'm sitting it out. Who do you like, Steve?
Well, I think Aidan O'Brien's got it stitched up, but Ryan Moore surprisingly doesn't ride Highbury, and surprisingly rides Illinois, I thought. But Grosvenor Square is one of the others that I thought is desperate to be going up in distance. Was beaten 10 lengths in the Chester Vase, but just didn't have the pace to go around Chester at all. Stiffer track up to 1 mile and 6. Not disappointed that we've got Dylan Brown McGonigal in the saddle because he's really good. And I just thought that what he did first back end of last season in a Group 3, albeit on heavy ground, showed that he was going to be a horse that came into his own when he went over staying distances, and that's what he gets today. And it's interesting, his half brother Santiago won this race 4 years ago, so it's the pedigree points that way as well. So of the 4 Aidan O'Brien runners, I'm going with Grosvenor Square.
Dees?
Yeah, I like Highbury. Just he didn't run as a 2-year-old, but there was all this kind of word about him that he's really, really good horse. Finished third to Boardman on debut, but again, the O'Brien horses needed to run. And won by 7.5 lengths last time at Leopardstown, going away from them. I don't think going up in trip is going to be a negative for him. I thought he looked really, really good. And it is surprising that Ryan Moore has gone for the other one, but I'm happy with Highbury at the price on him. He was a standout one to me in this.
All right, moving on to the 345. It's the Duke of Cambridge. I sat the last one out, so I'll come straight in with Laurel. I think she's potentially a class above. Now, she obviously comes with massive risks attached, and that was pretty notable over a year ago when reappearing in the Lockinge and running an absolute stinker. She's got form on the all-weather, which obviously translates well to Ascot, which the point that Steve has already made. 4.33 is enough to have her on side. Her times are very good. When she's good, she looks electric. But you've got to be worried about the last start, obviously. But if you're willing to forgive that, and I think price wise and class wise, I'm just about willing to. I was willing to side with her in a Group 1 in a Lockinge, to be honest, even though that didn't work out. And I'm not going to give up now back into Group 2 company. So Laurel for me with Ryan Moore on board. Steve?
I really fancy this horse, Doom, who's, I think, 21, something around there. And this is a horse who was beaten at 1-25 at Ripon last September. But since then, I think what Doom has been doing over 7 furlongs has been quietly impressive. Won very impressively at Redcar in a maiden. That was at the 6th time of asking. But you go back to the kind of horses that Doom was knocking shoulders with, the likes of Soul Sister, was only a head behind Soul Sister the back end of 2022. And that kind of shows you the potential this horse has got. And at Redcar, the ground was quick, 7 furlongs, and she won really well, albeit a race that wasn't up to this level by any means. But she's been to France since then a couple of times. She won at Fontainebleau in soft ground, but wow, they say it was soft ground. I wouldn't trust the French going descriptions at all. But it was soft ground when she was third last time to Gregorina. The Curragh, that was on her first start of the season. She wants a mile. She's bred to want fast ground. Her dam is Dank, who was, I think, won at the Breeders' Cup, but she definitely wanted fast ground. She did Dan Silly, and all the family on the dam side want fast ground. She's by Dubawi, who is obviously the top stallion, and but his stats are slightly better for fast ground. And I think a mile fast ground, Ascot should be ideal, and I'm expecting Doom to run really, really well.
And DC, I know who you're going to lay, but we'll get there. But who do you like?
I stuck in 2 for this because I wasn't too sure if one of them would run. So I'll go her first is Gregorina, Joseph O'Brien's horse. She's had 1 run with it since she came from France. That was at the Curragh on the 6th of May, won by a head. But if you actually go back and watch the race, she was trotting along out the back, seeming like she was going nowhere, and absolutely flew home. Got up on the line. That was soft ground. She was pulled out recently because it was with the form ground, so I wasn't 100% sure if they were going to declare her or not. But just on that, again, as Steve said, she beat Doom, she beat you send me a Fozzie Stack horse, and for her decent mares. I just think she's a big price if she's come on from that, and if she's okay on the ground. I think she could run a really good race. And same for Ocean Jewel, William McCreary's horse. She's been most last year running at 6 furlongs and 7 furlongs, and she won a 7 over at Leopardstown, but followed that up then with a 5th place at Naas, but she just didn't seem to have the speed. They stepped her up to a mile for the Matron Stakes at the end of the season. Didn't really rise a gallop, but she was 67.0 that day. But the last day now at the Curragh, again, she was just very, very impressive, beating Rogue Millennium, Yosemite. She just went out in front and front run and was really, really good. I thought she's a juicy enough price. I don't like Laurel at all at the top of the market. She'll be a place left for me. I think you have to forgive a lot to back after over a year off as well. No, I was very much against her, and again, Rogue Millennium, I'm just not sure about, trainer switches and things like this. I don't really like that. So I was willing to take her on with Ocean Jewel. Ocean Jewel has to give away £3 as well to the field, but again, she's 9.0. She's a decent enough price, so I'd have the 2 of them against the top 2 in the market anyway.
Moving on to the 425, then the Prince of Wales, a feature on the day. Is anyone with Augusta Rodin? No. I guess that's not surprising.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, you are? Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the lays. Go on. Go on, make the case then. Why are you with Augusta Rodin? 2.62.
I just think coming off last season, I thought he was an absolute super horse. Even the way he finished the season there, beating Luxembourg and going out to the States winning. I know he completely blew up at Maidan, but the last day against White Birch, look, it wasn't. I think it was probably softer and good to yielding. And they've always said that he really needs really, really firm ground. His bad runs of like at Ascot, he was running on good to soft there. I was in the King George's at Chat. I think he's different level to a lot of these. I think he's a strong favourite, and he could go off odds on, I'd say. So I'll be having a good bet off him.
Steve.
Yeah, I think that's a standout price. I think he's going to be nearer sort of 2.1. And for me, if you're betting a horse like that in a Group 1, even one that hasn't got exactly a huge amount of depth, you want to have a reliable horse on your side, and he's just not reliable. He is a horse that they say has travel problems. He's got a mixed record when he comes to Britain. He was desperately disappointing in the King George last year, but then he was pretty good in the Derby, having blown out in the Guineas. But at his best, he's probably gonna win. But is he gonna be at his best? I think that's anyone's guess.
Who are you with?
I am with Inspiral, because I think she's more reliable. She proved to a certain extent in the Breeders' Cup that she stays 10 furlongs. And it was a funny old race, the Lockinge, when she made a reappearance, when she was fourth behind her stablemate Audience, who just blasted away and never came back. And Inspiral was held up as she likes to be, but she just couldn't ever get into the race. And she does want fast ground. She's really at home on fast ground, and when she's good, she's very good. So getting a little bit of weight, I'm going to go for Inspire. I was tempted by maybe one of the French horses, but you got to worry about certainly Blue Rose Sen on the ground. So yeah, I'm going to stick with the safe approach and Inspire.
Calling her the safe approach is brave, but I can see Gus Redan and Inspiral. I don't want to be against them, but they make me nervous. I like how Flayler is a horse who progressed nicely last year. I think can kick on again this season. Obviously, only had 2 starts last year, including when winning on first start. Seems to go pretty well fresh. The Irish champion was a bit of a shocker how it developed for Jim Crowley and the horse. He had no chance from where he was, and 10 furlongs sound surface is what he wants. He's got a little bit to find. I think he's fairly reliable. I think he's a bit of sort of the forgotten horse of this division as well, because he went off at 7-1 for an Irish champion and did not get the run of things at all. He is I think he's pretty talented. So 13.0, I'd much rather try and get him in the 3 than one of the top ones in front. Moving on to the Royal Hunt Cup, 505 then. Big old prices going up. I think, Steve, you're the biggest of the lot, so I'll let you kick off, please.
I'm going with Thunderball, who's got plenty of form in this sort of race, which I think is key. Thunderball ran really well at this meeting last year and went on to run well in the Cambridgeshire despite a really tricky draw. And he's a horse that this season, so many runners, my program was loading up. 7 furlongs last time at Newmarket. Now, this horse has never run well at Newmarket, apart from that Cambridgeshire run last back end when only beaten a couple of lengths. And I don't think it's his track particularly. He's got a good record on fast ground, as he showed when 4th in the Britannia last season. He was a winner at Goodwood on soft ground, but fast ground, no problem whatsoever. And Metal Merchant, who's a much bigger price, beat him in the Spring Cup. Sorry, he's a bigger price than Metal Merchant in here, who beat him in the Spring Cup. But that day, he was one of the ones that was still in there, having raced in a prominent position and really putting it up to them. And the stable of Paul and Oliver Cole is in really good form. And I like the jockey as well, Alec Volkansky, who's attached to Richard Hannon's yard, taking off £3. I think he's really good. So Thunderball with me, with blinkers back on as well.
Dees, who do you like? Got a couple?
I like Thunderball.
No, just one. Just one.
He was on the list as well. I fancy Marco Botti's horse, Days of Our Lives. Again, he's been in the tracker now for a while, and he dead heated with Uzo in a handicap at Ascot last September, and then finished just behind Metal Merchant and Ascot again in October, and both on good ground. One and Chelmsford over a mile and 2 after that. That had his break for the season. He's run twice this year now, and I don't think they'll be too happy that he's gone up. He's gone up £4 this year, finishing 3rd and 2nd. at Newmarket, but both times they ran him out the back. They tried hold up tactics with him. So I think maybe they're trying to just teach him a new style of racing. They've stuck a first-time visor on him as well this time. He's about 20.0. I'll have a bet on him, and I'll probably back Thunderball as well, to be honest.
2 for me. They are Bless Him, who I mentioned already. You don't get many 10-year-olds winning this, but like he's pretty solid over this course and distance. He'll have it run to suit. I'd rather he was on a wing, which he is. He's coming out of 28, and he's, as I say, he won here. He won the Britannia here, I think it was, but it was a good few years ago now. But I think he's definitely worth having on side with his favourite jockey, Jamie Spencer, on board. And the other one I want on side is still relatively lightly raced for his new yard. That is Sean for Barrett Racing and Jamie and Safi Osborne. I like his run style coming here. I think he'll be patiently ridden. He ran a really good race on first start at Meydan. Second start at Meydan. First start was over. It was in Group 2 company, and they didn't go the sort of pace he needed from being held up. But the performance behind War on Point was very good. I just think he's a bit underestimated in this. I think the pace of a big field handicap held up will really suit him, and he's a fair old price at 41.0. So Sean at 41.0, Bless Him at 21.0. For me, don't forget to add some Matchbook insights for a recap of all of our best bets. There's loads of horses going up. 740, try again, 540 is the Kensington Palace Stakes. I thought this was a bit too tricky, so I'm sitting it out. DC, who are you with?
Last year's winner, Villanova Queen. Massive price, running off, I think £1 to now she's top weight, she's running off a pound higher. She carried 9.10 last year, carrying 9.12 this year. Don't think it'll be a problem. Probably has been working back from this for a long time. Jesse Harrington is in great form, great jockey, and he's 21.0. So we're getting 5 or 6 places in this, so a little small win bet, and again, back him 5 or 6 places.
Steve.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. The horse is called Hopeful, and I think this horse is just about to peak. She ran really well last time at Newmarket when she was a little bit keen, and she was just she stuck at it really well, even though she wasn't probably quick enough for that more tactical race. I think if she just gets a decent lead on the stand side and they go quick enough, she's definitely started off handicaps in good enough kind of rating that she can do something. She's really well bred. There's a lot of quality. I think I can't remember it's Eden who was 4th in the Guineas a few years ago, but there's also that horse whose name escapes me, the Hong Kong star. Sorry about the beeping. Invincible Dragon. So she's got a really good pedigree, and I think she's about to show it in this race. She's a strong stayer. She'll stay far further than this. So she just sits in behind the pace. Micheál Barcelona rides her, and hopefully she can see it out. And it's an open race, but I think she's got a good chance.
Most of them are open today, aren't they? Including the Windsor Castle, which we come to, the 6:15. Nothing for Steve. I'll kick off because it's my best bet of the day, and that is Hawaiian, who is a bet here purely because he's priced up on the back of the Sandown run when everything was against him. He raced on the far side. He raced up with the pace. There was a headwind. It was crap ground. It was very long grass as well. And basically it was testing on the straight track. And that was borne out by, Rock Hunter came from about half a mile back, and Chanting Empress was way off it. The first 3 home were all way off the pace. And it basically went in order of where you raced. Hawaiian, that's just a line through run. He might not be good enough to win this, but he's a lot better than last time, and he's been priced up on that run last time, and he ain't that. He's a lot better than that. So I think he is definitely worth a bet. I think before that they thought he was their Coventry horse. They're sticking over 5 in the weaker of the 2-5 races because of the run last time. He should be. Honestly, if he was lining up here off the back of not running last time, he'd probably be favourite. And that you just need to stick a big fat line through that run last time. Hawaiian is a great bet, I think. DC.
Going for one near the top of the market. Shadow Army, Richard Fahey. Got a tip from actually that day York from someone who told me that this was the best 2-year-old in his yard by a mile, and would probably win at Royal Ascot as well, whatever race he went in. So I'm just going based on that. He was very good that day. He beat Francisco's Piece, who has been gambled on for the Coventry as well. Just looked rapid when he missed the start and still got up to win. So I'll have a little bet in him.
Okay. And moving on to Matchbook Zero long shots. Don't forget to head to Matchbook Zero from 10 a.m. each day to get enhanced prices because there's zero margin, zero commission for your win bets. Mine is Hawaiian, shot caller in the last. Steve?
Mine is Doom.
In the 345, DC?
I'm going for Zanti in the Queen Mary.
In the opener. Best lays. Do you want to flesh out Auguste Rodin, Steve?
Well, it's only if he went sort of 2.1, 2.05. I just think he's an unreliable horse who can be brilliant, but can also be pretty rancid, especially when he comes over to this country. So I didn't want to be with him. If there was a lay on the day, it would be him.
And Dees, you're laying Laurel.
I'm place laying Laurel. I'm going to place layer for front 3 places. I just think looking at her, there's not a lot about her that would make me want to back her to win. And I can see there's a bit of depth to the race. So I'm just going to. She'll be a sharp price to come in the top 3. So it'll be odds on that she won't. So I'll just have the delay bet in that.
Best bets then. We have managed to get a different race each day. I think mine's Hawaiian in the 6:15. You two, I mean, you're both a disgrace. Steve?
Oh,
It's Grosvenor Square in the 305, the Queen's Vase, but I'm happy to switch. I'll switch to the horse in the Thunderball in the Hunt Cup.
Okay. Dees?
Highbury in the Queen's Vase. Thanks,
Well
Steve.
done, you. No, you two did great. Like, really good. Really good. 2 best bet sections. Different one each day. And yeah, no, really, really good.
These
Really
are
good.
stupid rules. The nap is the nap. It doesn't matter what race is running in.
Well, I think it's to help encourage people placing multiple bets.
Oh, yeah.
But I agree, it's a stupid rule.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Stupid rule, Dan.
I blame our producer.
I blame our producer for most things. Most things. There we are. Good. Don't forget the sign-up offer. It's very simple. Don't forget the competition. So you can win a £25 free bet by commenting your nap. So please do that. We've had a good few more just come in. Tom Fancy Zanderbad got 6.0 win and plays. Well done. Thanks all. Have a fantastic Royal Ascot. We'll see you again on Thursday. I know we didn't do any Thursday selections today, but we'll get through them on Thursday on the day. So it'll be quick fire selections for you then. Have a top week. Bye-bye.